Right then, we do find ourselves in some mad places and filming in some mad places, but the Brandenburg Gate is a pretty good one, isn't it? And up the top there is the BBC studio. You'll see on Rio's channel very soon who Rio is interviewing in there, and I swear to God it's an absolute mad one. Very, very interesting guest that I definitely didn't expect to be seeing out here anytime soon. But yeah, what a background. So I thought, there's a little bit of breaking news happening. Zirkzee and Ligt, Ornstein, and by the way, Ornstein has just absolutely elevated himself to the GOAT of the transfer windows this season, hasn't he? He's just coming out with banger after banger, and exclusive after exclusive. It was a good few years ago, I spoke to somebody at United, and it was someone in the comms department at United, and we were talking about reliability of different journalists and this, that and the other, and they said to me something about Ornstein, how he will come to them and he goes, I've spoken to this person, this person, this person, this person, or maybe not even naming the people, but I've basically got all of these things stood up and I'm going to run it because I believe what I'm being told. And the guy at United was like, he comes to you with such groundwork done that you can't really deny anything when he comes to you with it, because he'll go, well, I've got multiple sources that are saying X, I'm going to go with it. So since then, I've always kind of had an eye out for what Ornstein does, because I know he isn't the sort of person that's just going to go and say something. And if you notice as well, I covered this a little bit on Transfer Review for those who celebrate. And I was saying about when you look at some of the headlines that you see from different journalists, like the Mail had one this weekend, which is United won De Ligt and Branthwaite. And then you drill down into it, which is United want 2 centre-halves, and if Everton are willing to change their mind on how much Branthwaite's worth, then maybe United will put in another bit. Like, it was so wishy-washy. It was just absolute nonsense in the end. Then you see Ornstein, and either on his podcast, in The Athletic, or even just boshing it out on Twitter for the world, he goes, here's what's happening. There's no wishy-washy language in there, and he tells you what's going on. And because it's Ornstein, and because you know that it's going to be stood up by probably several sources, I wouldn't be surprised if he's got people on the United side and maybe even on the Ineos side, because of the things that he's been breaking really successfully this window. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's got something on the player side as well, because he's getting it absolutely nailed. Now, Rio's just about to go, well, he's in there now chatting to a couple of individuals. But just before those individuals arrived, we were talking about United signing these 2 players. Rio's not exactly hot on them. Oh, anyway, the news, sorry. I'm 3 minutes in here and I haven't even give you the news. So Ornstein has said that these deals are progressing. Like, United are in pole position. Like, basically, we're just going through all of the check gates that you need to go through. These deals are happening. It's as simple as that. And I was texting to Ronaldo, Brown, not the other one, obviously. But earlier today, and I was saying, it feels like, and I did touch on this on Transfer Review yesterday, it feels like a drama-free window for United. Doesn't it? It's like, there isn't rumours of us signing Messi, there isn't rumours of us signing just random old players. There's conversations about, so sorry, there's a lady from Sky's on the phone who nearly just walked into shot. There's rumours of United signing a couple of players, and it's realistic signings, Zirkzee and De Ligt, and that's like a couple of others in that sort of realm. No ridiculous signings, nothing that's just obvious lies from the moment it's printed. And it feels like the lack of leaks, the lack of noise that's coming out of Ineos, which has been a bit of a trait of theirs from the get-go, actually. It looks like United might start to finally be getting some drama-free windows, which, Jesus Christ, do we need? And then on the other hand of that, yes, these aren't like these absolutely stellar signings, but they're system signings. De Ligt would be coming in to play Erik Ten Hag's system. Rio's point, which we're going to go and do a video as soon as he's finished with those 2 in there, Rio's point was that De Ligt hasn't played in the Premier League, and he doesn't think he's good enough for, I think this is what he's going to say anyway, I don't think he thinks he can play at the intensity required for the Premier League. Now, personally, I think he is. I mean, I'm not going to go straight just argue up with one of the greatest centre-halves I've seen at our club. Second, in fact. But I am a little bit going to argue with him because I do think the Ligt's a good signing. And Zirkzee is a system signing as well. So United going for system signings over who's got the most Instagram followers or whoever we can get in contact with just feels like a shift, doesn't it? It just feels like doing the right thing for once. Now, Ornstein's report is that United are looking at... There was actually quite a few updates in the report. Benfica have triggered their clause with Alvaro Fernandes. It's a little bit frustrating, but it's not unexpected because he's a good player and he'll probably be worth 50-60 million in about 18 months' time. And that was it, really. They're just, United are still, testing the water with some bids, as they proved with Jared Branthwaite, is what he's sort of saying. But, De Ligt and Zirkzee, very much looking like they're going to be Manchester United players. I think De Ligt makes a lot of sense for the money. I understand the concerns, and I sort of share the concerns. He does mention Euro, but he also seems to say that Madrid are an option for Euro, but obviously not been boxed off just yet. So it'll be an interesting one to see how this carves out. I'm relatively excited, I'm going to be honest with you, because I know it's the first sort of signings we're going to see under the new regime, and we have no way of knowing if they're going to be successful or not. But the way they've gone about making all of the appointments in the backroom staff, and the fact that a lot of people are going to say De Ligt is just a Ten Hag signing, and it probably is a little bit of truth in that, I imagine. But I don't think that the rest of everybody at Ineos approves that if they don't believe in him. And I didn't go live on this the other day because I didn't really feel like it was live worthy. But I'll mention it here because I've got a minute or so left. The contract extension for Ten Hag is not a contract extension. It's United exercising the +1 that was already in his contract. Which means, I think, my take on this is that they've not managed to come to terms with whatever the reshuffling of Ten Hag's responsibilities will be, probably in terms of his veto or taking away some of his transfer power. And I don't necessarily think that's a positive thing. So he only had 12 months left to run his contract with a +1. They've exercised the +1, so now he's got 2 years left to run his contract. He's not a new contract. It is his existing contract kicked down the road. Now, I don't necessarily mind if they've kicked that down the road and make a big deal of it the way they've done, because at least it projects the idea of continuity and security. With Ruud van Nistelrooy coming as well, I don't necessarily think all is as led to it, or all is as the way it's being portrayed. I think there's probably a little bit more to it, but I don't know yet where that's going to shake out. Anyway, that's it from me in Berlin. Let us know your thoughts on Zirkzee, De Ligt, and what do you think is going on with Ten Hag's contract and all the rest of that sort of stuff. And see if you can guess who Rio's guests are going to be. And that'll be out on our channel probably tonight or tomorrow, I would imagine. 2 fucking bangers though. So check that out and I'll see you in a bit.